Hey guys, welcome to Gaming Instincts, and today we're going to be talking on Forza Horizon 4 with...
I'm John Knoles, Design Director at Turn 10 Studios, here to talk about Forza Horizon 4.
Awesome. So, what is the biggest difference between Forza Horizon 4 and Forza Horizon 3?
Well, I guess the biggest and most obvious difference, and the one we're talking about the most now, is the fact that Forza Horizon 4 introduces dynamic seasons in a shared open world. So that's something that's never been done before in a racing game or a driving game, and it's, for Playground, it's been kind of the holy grail. They've wanted to do seasons for a long time, but it hasn't been the right time, haven't had the right technology, and a lot of the work we did in Horizon 3, like with Blizzard Mountain, where we spent a lot of time doing snow, which we've wanted to do in every single Horizon game, but the time wasn't right, and we did it in this nice package called Blizzard Mountain. And that got us thinking, geez, what if we could do all 4 seasons? Wouldn't that just change everything? And we're not just doing it for visuals. It changes everything. It changes gameplay. It changes... the obvious one is visuals.
Of course.
Every time the world enters fall or winter or spring or summer, everything visually around you changes. Even the sheep, they're fluffy in the winter and they're shorn in the summer. But it's also the driving experiences, right? So, in summer, you're driving on hard-packed dirt roads if you're off-road. The highways are dry and fast. Occasional rain shower in the summer. In the fall, you get more rain, and you get a lot more mud in the spring, and lots of deep mud tracks. So all that technology that went behind the deep snow in Blizzard Mountain has now been applied to mud as well. So you could just cut giant ruts through a muddy field.
Right.
Really fun. And of course, snow. When it's wintertime, you got snow and ice and frozen lakes and things like that to contend with. And so it's always changing up gameplay, which is great.
I see. Awesome. We saw boats and motorcycles. Is that a hint of
yes,
something to come?
You saw them, but
I'll
just head it off at the pass. You're not driving boats or motorcycles.
Thank you.
In every Horizon game, I know a lot of Forza players have asked for that for a long time, and maybe someday, but not today. In every Horizon game, we've always had these really fun showcase events where you're racing against an unusual vehicle, like an airplane or a train or a boat or a series of boats, or even we had 30 hot air balloons you had to pass in one of the games. That was kind of fun. This time you'll be facing off against a stunt team of motocross bike racers, and it's just lively. They're jumping around like Mad Max, it's pretty cool. And the hovercraft is just a glimpse of maybe something else you might see along those lines. Yeah.
Right, so with the Xbox One X, how much of percentage-wise do you think the visual fidelity was increased thanks to the hardware?
Oh, I don't know if we've ever thought about it in terms of percentage. It's a lot.
There's a good difference.
You get the obvious things like faster load time, 4K, right? Native 4K. Right. A lot more high-res textures, and we're able to push out level. In all these games, we have this level of detail engine that things that are far away are less detailed.
LODs.
And in older games, you might see those pop a lot more. Now we can push those distances out further, so it's just a much more seamless visual experience.
Of course.
And what else? Oh, and probably the biggest thing that we're doing is really for the fans. We've had a lot of fan requests over the years, like, I really want to play this game at 60 frames per second on the console. So on the PC, you can run the game. We've totally optimized it compared to last time. We spent a lot of time making sure that it'll run 60 or unlocked on a much wider range of PCs. But we decided to take some of that super powerful graphics overhead that we got with the Xbox and just leverage that and give players a choice. If at the beginning of the game, if you want to play native 4K, 30 frames per second HDR and all of its beauty, great. If you want to flip a switch and say, no, I'd rather play at 60 frames per second at a lower resolution, probably 1080. We're still working on the exact resolution. But,
so it's 4K native 30 or 1080 60 as of today?
Yeah, as of today. That's kind of the target. We want it to look as good as the Xbox One, the normal Xbox One, but running at 60. That's kind of been our approach.
So that's your biggest target for the Xbox fans to be able to play this at 60 on a regular console.
The target is 60 and make it look as good as possible.
That's a pretty good.
Yeah, and just give players a choice. I personally I play it on PC. I play Horizon 3 on PC at 60 frames per second, and I play it at home on my Xbox One X at 30, and I enjoy them both. But sometimes you just you're in the mood for liquid fast.
And it's a Game Pass game too.
Yes, it is coming out on October 2nd on all Xbox One devices plus Windows 10 PCs, and is included with Game Pass.
Of course.
And of course, the players who want to get Ultimate can play 4 days early, September 28th. Yeah.
Is it going to be Ultimate physically or only digitally?
It'll be both. It'll be both.
It'll be both.
Yep.
Okay.
And what we're really excited about too is another thing we heard from fans after Horizon 3 with our 2 really fun expansions, Blizzard Mountain and Hot Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people who bought Ultimate were like, "Hey, well, why aren't these part of Ultimate?" Well, they weren't, but we're happy to say that Ultimate now includes 2 expansions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the car pass and VIP and pretty much
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff, yeah.
So what about the locations? You're in UK.
Yep.
There were a couple of rumors of Japan.
I don't know where that came from.
You don't know where that came from. I'm sure you read about it.
Somebody
right?
got excited and got
people
excited.
they believe their own lie, right?
Well, I mean, we've talked about locations that
Right.
we've explored in the past, and Playground has a list that they've prioritized,
Of
and
course.
Japan has always been in the top,
In the top.
the top 10, right?
Right, top 10.
The location is really about. It was really chosen because of the direction Playground chose to take, with the game. Like
Right.
when you're going to do a seasonal game, that rules out some places. Now Japan certainly has seasons, but there's other places we were looking at too that you wouldn't do because it never snows there.
Right.
For example.
Of course.
But Britain kept coming back. At first they were like, "Oh God, we can't do that. That would be weird. It would be like, are we doing it just because we live there?"
Right.
And we were teasing them. Wait, I thought Britain was all just rolling green hills and London fog, and
Right.
we were kind of naive about Britain. It's beautiful and diverse in places. It's a big area. So
Right.
the swath of land that Playground decided to build it's a big chunk of the north central part of the island, right? So it's
Right.
got some of the Cotswolds, which is a beautiful valleys in the southern part of our map, all the way up to Scotland with Edinburgh. The Lake Country, where if you remember in the Star Wars The Force Awakens, when the X-Wings are skimming across the water, that's all the Lake Country
Right.
in the same part of the world that we're building this game. It's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of diversity, but because they did seasons, they did Britain, and when you're doing Britain, it just reinforces how great seasons are, because
Right, of course.
and it's the most seasonal. Not every winter in Britain is super cold with snow and frost everywhere.
Right.
But so we have the springiest spring you've ever seen. We've got
Right.
the winteriest winter you've ever seen. The summeriest summer. That's kind of been the approach. The
Awesome.
idyllic.
I like it.
Yeah.
What are like your other locations in the list if you guys are, let's say,
Oh,
that you have
I mean,
besides Japan and
there's the
England?
obvious stuff. I mean, we did Colorado a long time ago. It might be fun to go back there someday, but we're always
Right.
looking for the next place.
I see. Have you ever thought of Miami?
That has come up, believe it or not.
Because Miami is, hot cars, you got the beaches.
But there's no hills.
That's true.
Florida is about the flattest state we have, right? So
Right,
you'd
it
have
is
to you'd have
plus,
to
yeah.
go like all the way up into the Appalachian Mountains or something.
Right,
you'd,
right.
you'd have to go you have to do the whole South,
Right.
Which has come up before, right?
Was there ever something like maybe we'll do 2 locations instead of 1?
Oh,
or-
of course. I mean,
Right.
every game we do always starts out, much bigger than you
Right.
think it could be. I mean,
Of course.
Horizon 1, if you could believe it or not, was going to take place in 3 countries.
Oh crap!
So you can guess maybe with Horizon 2 where one of those countries were, right? Horizon 2 was France and Italy. That's where we were going to go in Horizon 1, right?
I see.
And in Horizon 2, we wanted to do the Swiss Alps in addition to
Right.
France and Italy, but it's just too much.
Too
I
much,
mean, at
yeah.
some point, if you try to take on too much,
You're not gonna be able to finish it.
you can't do it as well.
Right. It's
as
not
you-
gonna be as high quality as you need
yeah.
it to be. Of
yeah,
course.
and so it's about picking the right size world,
Mm-hmm.
and picking the right size features that you can do really, really well in the span of time that we like to spend making games, which is about 2 years.
Right. 2 years. Yeah. They rotate more for Motorsport
Yeah,
and
we've
Horizon.
been doing that
That's
since
kind of thing.
2012, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So you guys are not burned out yet?
No, actually,
No?
because I think it goes back to what I was talking about. If you pick the right size, game to make,
Right.
and you just focus on polishing the heck out of that,
Right.
that's doable. And
Of course.
and Playground's really hit their stride. I mean, the first 2 games had some serious challenges, but they still came out great. I think we've learned a lot, and the things that were the riskiest things for us in the past, which was typically the environment,
Right.
it's just a massive amount of work,
Of course.
has become the thing that went the smoothest on this project,
Right.
despite the fact that they did it 4 ways. I mean, 4 seasons is not easy, especially.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
You're not loading in a new world. It's the same world and it transforms. So
Right.
that was the hard part. Like
Yeah.
halfway through the project, when they were looking at it, they're like, "Oh my God, we have to build 4 worlds the size of the
Right.
world we built last time." There's no way. We found a way.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I have a few questions for you, but I'm not sure if you might be able to answer them because it might be a little bit out of your realm. I'm gonna ask you anyway.
Okay.
If you're not comfortable answering,
Sure.
that's okay. How long ago were you guys bought out by Microsoft? Is that something
Well, no,
like
I
you're allowed to
I
say?
work for Microsoft. I work at Turn 10 Studios.
Okay.
No,
The Playground guys.
the playground becoming part of first party studios, that just happened.
That just happened.
yeah.
How recent do you think that happened?
Oh, that was just like, I think they signed all the paperwork in the last few weeks. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's
So
pretty-
about within a month.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds
I
interesting.
mean, I'm not privy to all the details of that. I'm super
course.
happy about it.
Oh,
Because
I can't wait to see what the new studio's cooking.
I've been working with Playground for 8 years now, and
Right.
since they started, we helped get them started. So
Right.
to me, it just means I get to keep working with them.
And you like it personally for your
Oh.
life and everything else,
Oh, it's
right?
great. Yeah, yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
No.
Awesome.
great.
So you found your home. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Forza Horizon that you think a lot of people might miss out on, or something particular?
Well, a lot of people have asked, what do you mean by shared world?
Right.
In the previous games, everybody has a great solo experience. That is still there for people. And
You
if
can
you
pl-
don't,
you
if
can still play solo,
Yeah, if
right.
you can play offline if you want. If you
That's
can
great.
you can
Right.
unplug your Xbox, but we recommend that you play it as it's been
intended.
designed. Yeah,
Right.
and the game will sort of ease you through the first few hours. You're kind of doing it on your own, and then
Right.
and then you get put in a world with other players, and we make sure that they can't grief you, they can't crash into you, and
Right.
and there's a certain point at which you decide you want to use quick chat to group up with somebody and
Right.
go play the game co-op, or just drift around or screw around or whatever. You can do all those things, but what's amazing is that as much work as we put into the Drivatar system to make other cars in the world, the AI take your friends' behaviors and put them in the game, we just can't yet emulate exactly what your real players do. Like if you're
Right.
driving around Horizon 3 today and you go into the Surfer's Paradise and you pull up into a parking lot, there's always people drifting around and doing figure eights and having fun
Right.
in there. Like, it would take a lot of work to program AI
Right.
doing that. And it's just fun and entertaining to see the spontaneity and variety that other players bring to the game. And
Yeah.
it'll really, and there's
Spice up
so
both.
many things to do together.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the ramps. That look
Oh,
cool.
there's
Yeah.
jumps everywhere, and
Jumps.
that came from players. So in Horizon 2, we were like, oh, what? We can't really put that hill there. Somebody's going to launch their Bugatti off it, and that's going to be silly.
Right.
They did, and they loved it. So,
Right.
so
It's a game.
So that's why you
right.
saw danger signs show up in Horizon 3, which is the game says this is dangerous, but maybe you shouldn't do it. Wink, wink.
Right.
And then you get points.
Obviously,
for
you're gonna
seeing
be
how
like, no,
far you
I'm
can
doing it
drive."
anyway.
Yeah. And players just love that stuff. So that came from watching how people play the game and giving them something to chase, which is
Right, which is cool.
Yeah. More
Awesome.
stuff, yeah.
Real quick on the location. How big is it compared to Australia in
Oh,
terms of size?
it's roughly the same size.
Oh, it
except
is
you get
about-
you get 4 flavors.
Oh, okay, I see. So
Because
it's
of
about
the
the same
seasons.
size,
Yeah.
4 different flavors. Okay.
And with each Horizon game, we keep saying this because it's true, each one gets more and more open. So,
Right.
Horizon 2 was much more open than Horizon 1. Horizon 3 took that even further. And Horizon 4, we've taken pains to make sure,
Right.
you can drive everywhere. And it wouldn't be Britain if it didn't have those stone dikes, those walls
of
everywhere.
course, yeah.
Well, that would suck if they stopped your car when you hit them.
Right.
They slow you down and you get a little bit of damage, but you can barrel through any of them. And so that open world freedom is just applied to the entire map.
Right.
We've also made it a little easier to distinguish which trees will stop you versus which ones won't.
Right, of course.
Yeah, which
Awesome.
helps.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.